YTBC, what's the deal? So, a commenter on my last video, entitled Deontay Wilder, Amir Mansour been calling you out. Okay, there's a commenter on here, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Zezazarhars. The spelling is Zezizarjaars. Okay, he left a comment, and then I left a comment. I'm just going to read the comments we were leaving, and then I'm going to answer his last comment with the video response, because I didn't feel like leaving all of this in the comment section, okay? So he responds to the video by saying, and shouts out to him for even coming to my channel and checking my videos out. But he says, they should have fought each other earlier. It's pointless to comment without any proof you've been turned down by the other guy. Shannon Briggs hasn't been proved weak since Klitschko. Mansour has been proved not a winner in his last match. Then I replied, Mansour also proved he's a top 25 heavyweight by BoxRec. He beat Cassie and Dweco, which are solid wins. He also beat Wilder opponents like Gavin and Price. Yes, he did have a draw with Washington and a loss to Cunningham. Both fights were tough, competitive, close fights with a high-level prospect and a former proven champion. If we're going to use everyone's downfalls against them, then nobody deserves a shot. Then he went on to comment, so Washington is about Mansour's limit? Yeah, sorry, but then Briggs, his limit is quite some higher, isn't it? Briggs hasn't shown going downhill after his Klitschko fight. He won everything in most of his fights in one round. Mansour should have challenged Briggs before, but refused. Well, then he shouldn't be surprised Briggs got accepted. He begged for it piles of times, and now he can probably finally achieve it. It's not like Washington is a bad fighter, but to me, he's pretty much equal to Briggs, just completely different style. When it comes to Shannon Briggs, you know, if we're going to give him his shot, this shot based on him with his Let's Go Champ campaign, that's fine. That's, you know, I like that. You know, that's why I wanted to see it. Plus, I know that, you know, he has a puncher's chance, if anything. We know that he had that... I didn't think he won the fight, but the victory over George Foreman was at 97, and people were looking at Briggs like he was the champion because we know that Foreman won the straps from Michael Moore, what was it, the WBA and the IBF, and then we know that Big George did not want to fight any of his mandatories. I think it was who was always his mandatories back then? Was it Tony Tucker and Bruce Seldon? Then he paid the IBF to fight Axel Schultz, which backfired. He damn near lost to him. Then Foreman didn't want to fight him again. So then Briggs, he fought Briggs when he didn't have any titles, and Briggs was looked at like the champion. Then Briggs ended up losing to Lennox Lewis. Then Briggs, he does win a title. Who did he beat? Chigayev? No, he lost. No, not Chigayev, but Lyakovich, and then he lost Tim Brogomov. He's never been looked at really as a great champion to begin with when he did have the title. But I do give Shannon Briggs, you know, credit for winning the title. But let me, you know, really go into this, man, and really break down why, if we were trying to say who deserves a shot, then the person that really deserves the shot, if we're going to say who deserves this more, Briggs or Mansour. If you look at their last 5 fights, okay, first let me get into some facts. After the Vitali fight, you're right. He's 8-0 in the last 5 years with 7 knockouts. He's also rated by the WBA number 5, their last rankings. Fury was rated number 2, so I'm pretty sure the WBA might bump Briggs up. But the last time I checked on WBA, he was rated number 5 by that sanctioning body. Those are all facts. Let's go over his last 5 fights. Briggs beat Michael Marone. I've never heard of Michael Marone. Michael Marone is 21-4. Briggs stopped him in the second round. Going into the Briggs fight, Marone's record, his last 5 fights, was 2-3. He had been stopped 3 times by Devero Williamson. Yes, that Devero Williamson. Darrell Madison, and he fought Guillermo Jones for a cruiserweight title, and he got stopped. Okay. Briggs' next opponent, Zoltan Petrini. Briggs stopped him in the first rounds. His record is 51-21. He had previously got KO'd by a guy that was 5-0. Then he went into the Briggs fight. So he was coming off a KO loss. Next fight, Richard Carmack, who has fought a lot of guys, by the way, but Richard Carmack, he lost his 5 previous fights, 3 of them by TKO, and one of them he lost to a Twin Cities native, Aaron Green, Aaron Gorilla Green, who was 16-0 with 13 knockouts, Minnesota guy. Throwing that in there. His 4th fight, Shannon Briggs, Corey Phelps. Corey Phelps was 16-6 with 1 draw. Corey Phelps actually lost to Tommy Korpinski in a light heavyweight fight. But he was on a 3-fight win streak going into the Shannon Briggs fight. That's great, right? Then if you look at his 3-fight win streak, one guy was 3-24-1, one guy was 9-2, and one guy was 2-20, a combined record of 14-46-1. His win streak of 3 opponents. That was their combined record going into his fight with Briggs. Then if you want to throw in the Rafael Zabuno Love, now I'll give him credit for that fight because Love has fought Ruiz Jr. and he's fought Anthony Joshua and Charles Martin, Eric Molina. He's been stopped by Joshua, Martin, and Molina. He just went the full distance with Ruiz Jr. That fight is on YouTube. It was on the undercard of Terrence Crawford and Thierry Jean in Omaha. That fight is on YouTube. It was not on the HBO telecast, but somebody that was in the arena, they recorded the fight, I believe on their iPad or something, but it's on YouTube. I'll give him credit for that win. If you want to throw Matthew Greer in there as a 6th fight, Matthew Greer was 16 wins, 14 losses, 13 knockouts. He's been knocked out 10 times. He's also lost to Aaron Green. Before the Briggs fight, he lost to Hughie Fury by TKO in the 2nd round. And then after the Briggs fight, he lost to Aaron Green, retired in the 2nd round. So with Zubanu Love, Matthew Greer, Corey Phelps, Richard Carmack, Zoltan Petrini, and Michael Marone, do you think that's worth getting a title shot? Now let's look at Amir Mansour. I said Amir Mansour was a top 25 BoxRec heavyweight. I was wrong. He's actually rated number 26 by BoxRec. All right. He's rated 26 by BoxRec. Now, you look at Amir Mansour's last 5 fights. Gerald Washington, it was a draw. That fight was in October. It was a draw. I thought Mansour won, but the facts are it was a draw. Mansour is 3-1-1 in his last 5. The Joey Daweko win, he fought him in May 2015. I thought that was a good win. Joey Daweko is a decent little fighter. Kind of reminds me of Andy Ruiz Jr. just a little bit. He's beat Derek Rossi. He had a draw with Gerald Big Baby Miller. He has lost to Amir Mansour. And he got stopped by Charles Barton, but he's been in there with good quality guys, and he has mixed results, better than anybody that was on Briggs' list of his last 5 or 6 fights. Fred Cassie, a guy that Amir Mansour knocked unconscious. That fight was on NBCSN. That was a very good fight, in my opinion. He knocked Fred Cassie out cold. Fred Cassie came back. I thought he beat Chris Arreola. And then who did Fred Cassie just beat? Dominic Brazil. I thought he won that damn fight too. Fred Cassie is a good, decent opponent in today's era. As far as guys who may be French contenders, he's a good, solid victory. And then the fight against Steve Cunningham. Steve Cunningham is a proven champion. Although not at heavyweight, he's still a proven champion. Cunningham is very, very lucky that Steve Smoger was reffing that fight, because the way he went down in the 5th round for them knockdowns, any other ref would have stopped it. That's why I like Steve Smoger. Some people criticize him for damn near getting guys killed, but he does let, especially ex-champions or champions, go out on their shield. You know, some people don't think it's safe, but I like Steve Smoger. And then the Kelvin Price win. Kelvin Price, only 2 losses in his career are to Deontay Wilder and Amir Mansour. Price, he's had victories. He took Tor Hammer's when Tor Hammer was 11-0. We've seen Tor Hammer in there with guys like Andy Ruiz Jr. Some people think Tor Hammer quits, but Price beat him. He beat Julius Long and an old Danny Williams, but at least he's beat some guys we know of. Shit, Kelvin Price's resume is probably better than Briggs in the last 5 fights. So when I say Briggs, should get the fight, I'm saying it because he has been saying, let's go champ. Him and Wilder got into it in New York a few months ago. I can't remember exactly when. They're out in the street in New York and they seen each other in the crowd. And I remember Shannon Briggs saying something like, that Wilder can walk down, I don't know, 7th Street or 144th Street somewhere in New York and nobody will know who he is. You know, so I've seen him get into it, but I've also heard uh, Amir Mansour call out Deontay Wilder's numerous times over the last year. So that's my video response to your question, man. The last 5 fights is not even close. You know, so if you're basing this off of he's 8-0 with 7 knockouts, he has a high knockout percentage, and he says, let's go champ, and he's been a former champion, okay, that's fine. But if we're trying to say off of what, you know, what have you done for me lately, Amir Mansour deserves this fight, deserves it more than uh, Shannon Briggs, in my opinion. Now, we're going by who deserves it more. I believe Amir Mansour, but I would like to see either one of them. You know, both guys are in their 40s, but to me, I feel as if Amir Mansour has more left in the tank as far as right now. YTBC, I'm out.